You're listening to the Productive Therapist Podcast, the world's greatest and most brilliant resource for busy therapists who'd rather be laying on a beach in Hawaii. Every week we share helpful tips on where to put what, how to do this, that and the other, and the best way to get your ducks in a row. And now here's your host, licensed therapist, head nerd, and productivity Yoda, Uriah Guilford.
Hi there. Thanks for listening to the podcast. I just wanted to say that you're awesome. You're doing good work in the world and keep it up. Today's episode is an interesting one for me. I just met this person and found out about this company recently, connected with them, and had a chance to interview them. And it's Anna O'Brien from theconsultlist.com. She's a board-certified art therapist and licensed professional counselor in the Philadelphia region. Along with her private practice, she's the co-founder of TheraVera, which runs Be Well private practice communities, and the Consult List. Her professional passions surround creativity, human connection, and finding unique solutions in the therapy field. And the Consult List is a very interesting service offering that is actually free with an upgraded membership level, and it really supports therapists and allied professionals and school counselors making referrals, really good referrals to community resources for clients. That's a mouthful, but it's very interesting, and I hope you enjoy my conversation with Anna O'Brien from the Consult List. Hi, Anna. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Uriah. Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. It's such a pleasure to meet you today and get to talk about fun things that we both are interested in.
Absolutely.
Yes. I have to say, I always love hearing about other therapists that are doing unique, creative things. And when that collides with software tools that make life and business easier, I'm just like, count me in.
Yeah, it's nice, and we can find a way to use them for good. Because technology can be a double-edged sword sometimes, but it's certainly like there are lots of ways that it can improve our lives and our practices and help clients. Yeah,
so true. I feel like I've been on a mission for a long time to try to figure out how to make it easier for people who need counseling to find the right counselor quicker. Seriously. And that's part of the reason why I started a group practice. It's part of the reason why I've done a bunch of networking over the years and why I've done so much blogging and outreach and all kinds of things, because it's still so hard. And I think you would agree, but you can tell me your perspective. Still so hard for somebody who realizes that they have a serious need. Counseling is part of the answer. And how do I find the right providers? I'm sure you've noticed that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's kind of what made me jump into this. The feeling of guilt when, your phone rings. Like, first of all, when you start private practice, you can't wait to get full and you're so excited. And then when you are full, especially with all the stress of the pandemic, and, it was a lot of weight to carry, I think, for all of us in our personal lives, and then having a full caseload. You start to understand why. You hear people say, gosh, I've called several therapists and no one's called me back. At first, I kind of couldn't believe that was becoming standard in our field. But then I started to understand therapists are so overwhelmed right now. But it's also just really deflating. I think we've all been there or had someone close to us go through that, where we're looking for help and we don't get calls back. So that was something where it just was like, there's got to be a better way. And luckily I have a great business partner who is kind of the other side of the brain for me. I'm a creative person, an art therapist, and I'm really great at coming up with ideas, but the implementation of them is always challenging unless I have a kind of someone who's a little more logically minded. And so it really has worked out well. And I'm excited to hopefully help some folks, clients and therapists alike, through this.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I encountered that same problem we're talking about not too long ago when I was actually looking for a therapist for my family. And the first problem was, of course, I know too many people. Yeah. So like there's that. Yeah. But also there's a lot of therapists. I'm in Northern California, and I know in different parts of the country, there's not as many therapists, but on the coast there seems to be. And in closer to big cities, we're pretty close to San Francisco, tons and tons of options. How do you find the best one? Tons of research, right? It took me a lot of time and asking people, asking friends, asking colleagues, doing all of that. And looking at directories as well, those types of things.
And Facebook groups, right? I think that's where a lot
sometimes
of us
Facebook groups. Yeah, definitely. But the thing is, you don't want to just be given a list of people. You want to be given a list of people that could most likely help you with your particular challenges, right? So I don't want to know about all the teen therapists in Sonoma County. I want to know about the best ones for these particular challenges, right? So I don't know what you call that. I guess in business they call it a qualified referral, right?
Right.
Like this is the ideal person for this provider, and that's what we want is for the client that has a specific need to connect with the right provider, and the consult list is a solution for that. Yes.
Yes. So that's the whole goal is that clients are happier when they get the right therapist, and therapists are happier when they get the right clients for their niche. And we've been working with school counselors in the district near me, and noticing that you don't just slap their child therapist label on it and then all of a sudden it works for everyone. There are therapists that are children therapists that are really great with selective mutism, while someone else may be really excellent at working with self-harming teens. So a good fit benefits everyone. And also the way I see it is it also helps us address this mental health crisis, because how many times have you heard someone say, like, this therapist was really nice that they used to see, but I just didn't notice much progress, and I'm sure that therapist was great for maybe some other niche, but maybe it just wasn't a good fit. And so if we can get people immediately or quickly into the right hands, they're likely to do better and heal faster. And therefore it allows us to help more people. And that's just would be like a dream, right? To be able to really, as a field, address this problem by keeping it in private practice and preventing people from going to kind of maybe subscription services or something that is, maybe questionable in terms of outcomes or ethics.
That makes sense. And I was just thinking about the feeling that you get as the therapist making the referral that is the best one for them. And that feels good. And I don't think there's any therapists out there that want to just scattershot make referrals. Well, like, here's 3 child therapists that might work for you. Nobody wants to do that, right? You want to go like Jim across town. He works great with 8-year-old boys who are on the autism spectrum. Boom. He's your guy or whoever that is, right? And so that's, I think, partially what the consult list wants to make more possible and easier, right? So for people who haven't heard about the consult list and have never been to the website yet, theconsultlist.com, can you just give a description of what it is and how it helps?
Sure. So it's a clinical referral tool. And what we mean by that is that while it helps the clients in the end by giving them a list of qualified therapists that have indicated they have space available, the people who are members of the consult list are clinicians or allied health members or school counselors. So it helps therapists who are full find therapists and grow their referral network with therapists who have availability. And it gives them a lot of control over that because they can choose who they refer to. So you can have different lists. You can have your EMDR therapist list of people who you know and trust. And you can also get on there and kind of see, like, who do I trust? Who do they refer to? So maybe that helps me learn a little more, grow my network. And so it allows us to kind of send referrals and choose kind of where they go. And then also, if we don't get enough offers, and when we say a consultation offer, we basically just mean the person has agreed they have space available and they're open to the phone call and to talk to the person to see if it's a good fit. So we're really hoping that we're going to be able to help people find people within their preferred network. And if there aren't people available in their preferred network, they can expand it to area therapists, and they get to choose if they want the names to automatically go on the list, or if they want to be able to see who's offered a consultation and then, hand select which ones actually go to the client. So we're working with therapists and then also allied health. So we're beginning to talk to health systems, hospital, ER, discharge nurses, social workers, rehabs that maybe need outpatient therapy for their clients as they're leaving rehab, school counselors, as I mentioned, to help families find therapists for their kids. And those the allied health and school counselors, they just refer. They're not accepting clients. Sure. So there's that capability as well.
I love that actually, because one of my therapists and I were on a school campus last week at a wellness fair.
Yeah.
And I would love to share this resource with the school counselors there, because part of their job is finding resources for families and kids in need. So
Right.
that's brilliant. I love it.
Thanks.
Wonderful. So, I just signed up today, this,
Yeah.
and I was excited to check it out.
Yeah, excited to see your name come through.
Oh, awesome. That's great. And the listeners know this, or most of them do, but I am a group practice owner and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, but I no longer see clients. Mm-hmm. So that was one of the first things that came to my mind that we chatted about briefly before hitting record on this, is that I don't want anybody referring to me.
Right.
So what I would love, if it's okay, this is kind of a selfish request, but hopefully it'll benefit the listeners as well, is you could kind of tell me and share with me, how can I best use the consult list for my group practice and then also for my community? Because I can think of a ton of people that I want to be on here and refer to. Right. In fact, of course, we have a list that my intake coordinator shares with clients that we can't serve. So tell me how can I get the most out of this?
Sure. So one thing that I wanted to clear up is you don't have to be accepting clients to join the consult list. You can join, and there's like a snooze feature that allows you, even if you are sometimes accepting, but not, you can snooze for a certain amount of time, and then it'll kind of check back in with you to say, hey, do you have any openings now? And, after 45 days or so, whatever time you choose, or you can elect to, click not accepting, and you are just not, you're showing that you're not accepting any referrals, and you're just referring out. So as far as how it can help, like with a group practice, we are working on functionality now. Right now, what we have is, as I had mentioned, the list, but we're working on functionalities and a solution for intake managers of a group practice to help them route the referral that comes into the group practice to different members, and get those members of the group practice on, and the associates on, in kind of a circle is what we call it. And then also what your intake manager could do is instead of giving a sheet of paper or emailing, a PDF of people who you refer to, enter those contacts onto the consult list, and they get an invitation to join, and it's free. That all essential features are free. They can then join. And so when you have a request, you can use drop-down buttons only to kind of describe a little bit about what's going on with the person, what they're looking for, what kind of insurance they have, what availability they have. And you can send those to your preferred clinicians. They can then indicate if they have space by clicking a button to raise their hand, or they can turn the offer down or just not respond, and it doesn't go on the list for the prospective client.
Mm-hmm. I love that snooze feature, because that's one of the challenges with making referrals, whether it's to a support group or an individual clinician. You just don't know if your favorite referral sources are busy or not. And if they're your favorite, they're probably busy.
Yeah,
right?
I know. It's nice to give referrals, but sometimes I'm like, I'm giving you 3 names and I think that they're full. And then you're going to go down this rabbit hole of dead end referrals, because they're going to give you 3 names of people who are full.
Yes. Yeah. One of my favorite therapists to refer to in my area is consistently full. And so I love making the recommendation and the referral for somebody to see her, but it's like, if you can get in, so it doesn't feel like it feels good to give that referral, but not completely, because I don't know if they can get in. Right.
Like worrying about getting their hopes up and then being like, there's a little uncertain 8-year wait list.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. So you're saying that with the new functionality coming out in the near future, then I can add all the clinicians in my group practice, and so we can essentially refer internally to our group. I like that.
Totally. Yeah.
That's
currently great. You can do that with a list, but with a list, there's one owner. So that person can then refer out, but the new functionality will allow each person to refer, so if I was an associate at your practice and I got a call and I can't take it, I can then send it back to the circle of the group practice and see if anyone else, and kind of keep it in the group if possible.
And how would that work? Like for us, we have an intake coordinator that's one of the productive therapist virtual assistants, actually.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And none of the clinicians get calls or messages about new clients. So they all get funneled through the intake coordinator,
Right.
which I think is how a lot of group practices,
Mm-hmm.
not all, do it. So how would Tiffany, my intake coordinator, potentially use the consult list?
Right. So typically, it's for therapists who are licensed, but with this functionality, it will allow a licensed therapist who's the owner of the practice to indicate or allows, a intake coordinator on. So this might be an office person. What's really nice about this is it kind of gives them, I wouldn't say a script, but it lets them know what to ask, right? So they're going through the case details and they're saying, okay, so, can you tell me a little bit about, where you're located? Are you open to telehealth or in person? So they can just kind of go through the check boxes and they can get all the information they need and make sure, without the clinical training, they still know how to get the information that a therapist would need. And the great thing about it too is it really preserves the patient's privacy. We go out of our way, and we've worked with lawyers and Eric Strom, who's awesome too, out of Portland, who's a psychologist and a lawyer and ethics expert, about how to do this in the best way. And we think we've hit the sweet spot, but we're always looking to grow. And we have a referral ethics committee that will meet quarterly to kind of review all the information so that we know when we're making a decision, it's not just about business, but it's about doing right by our clients and having best practices in referring.
That's great. That's not an easy process. I know a little bit about that, and it's quite a lot of hurdles and things to jump through, hoops.
Right.
Yeah, that's good. But for everybody listening, if you want to join the consult list, just know that that process has been gone through and continually gone through, I imagine, to make sure that the potential clients are protected, data privacy is all squared away and all that good stuff.
Yes.
It just occurred to me, I don't know, don't sell data, right?
Yeah. Which I feel like, what? It's so strange that that's become a common practice that I have to be like,
that sets you apart?
Yeah, wait, I'm not horrible.
We're not like Facebook. Yeah. That's used to be common sense, but
right.
It's not necessarily the case. Yeah, exactly. So this question popped into my head. No part of this, and I know it doesn't, but I'm just for clarification, no part of this involves anybody getting paid to give a referral, share a referral, et cetera, right?
Not at all.
Obviously, that's not happening. Yeah.
Yeah, you can join at the Essentials feature or Essentials membership for free, and it'll always be free. It allows you to, accept as many or, offer as many consultations as you want, enter as many cases as you want. When you get to the paid membership, which is higher, it just offers more time-saving features. So there's some features where we can offer a link to the prospective client so that they can just keep checking back at their list over the coming days to see who's responded. Nice. So that really is like a one and done. Like you're picking up the phone call or you're answering an email, you're getting the information and you're done, instead of the current system, which seems to be a lot of phone tag of like, okay, let me ask a couple people and call you back, or, whatever it is. So there's a lot of more time-saving features. There's also, if you're a new clinician or new to private practice, and you really are focused on your getting clients, you can have we're working on functionality that you can have different profiles that are publicly, for the clients that'll show up. So let's say you work with teens, but you also work with college students that are transitioning, to college. You may have a different bio that, copy that says something like first year of college is so hard versus being a teenager in high school is so difficult. So you can kind of choose so that when the prospective client is reading, they feel like your copy is really speaking to them.
That's very unique. I like that.
Thanks. Yeah. Trying to think of creative solutions here.
That's pretty clever. I like that one a lot, actually, because, if somebody lands on a bio on Psychology Today or somewhere else, and it's all about new moms, and you're like, well, okay, not me. I'm out.
Right. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, you don't want that if you have, because a lot of people have more than one ideal client, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
So this might be, I don't know if this is a nonsensical question, but it crossed my mind. How is the consult list different than a therapy directory?
So yeah, while we have an interclinician directory, that it's not public facing. So if you have a client and they go to the consultlist.com, they're just going to see that you have to have a license to sign up and that it's for therapists. So this is really more of a networking tool. At some point, someone's going to have to stop me from making this joke because I just love it. But instead of LinkedIn, we kind of joke that it's like shrinked in. Get it? It's shrinked in.
Yes. That's terrible, but I think you should keep
terrible.
it.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm a mom now, right? I got mom humor.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyways, we have this ability to see again, like who you are referring, or who is it in your second degree connections. And in that directory, the interclinician directory, you can see a clinical bio for the clinicians. So it's not just public facing, but you get to see something that no clients will see, which is like what their training is about and how they back up saying that they have a specialty in some area. But that's really it. That's a piece of it, but we're not a directory. We're a kind of a referral, like a systematic way to handle referrals and make sure that things don't fall through the cracks and feel like you did right by everyone and support your fellow clinicians and support the community around you and just generally feel better about that part of your practice.
I like that. It's a different value proposition, but it's really, really important because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think a lot of therapists, and I've done this before, when you don't know somebody, when you don't know the right people to refer to, you sometimes go to a directory like Good Therapy or Psychology Today, and you do a search and you try to find the best person you can, even though you don't know them. Right. So the consult list seems like a more ideal way to refer versus like just a huge directory for clients who are looking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's great.
Right.
Just so you know, I did a quick search and shrinkedin.com is available. So if you want that.
We thought about it. I'm not going to lie, but I'm pretty sure if we officially went after that, they may not like it. Yeah.
That's funny. I recently was educating myself on trademarks and copyright law. So you don't want to mess around with that. Especially with huge companies.
Yeah, especially when you're self-funded.
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to stay in my corner. Yeah.
So one other question as I'm thinking about using this and how to utilize it is, how do I get my 20 favorite local providers on the consult list so that I can have them on my list and in my circle or whatever the language is, all of the above?
Yeah. So what you would do is there's an area on the site where you can invite colleagues to join. So you would go in and you would type in their name and their email address, and they will get an invitation to join. But even before they join, that then goes into your preferred referral list. And within your preferred referral list, you can then take that list, and that becomes kind of your glossary or your list of therapists that you can choose from when you're creating your customized lists. So I may have, as I mentioned, like EMDR therapists, marriage and family therapists. I may have like something as specific as works, like boys, like elementary age boy, hyperactive boy list. You really could kind of choose whatever you name things. And then you can go through your list of the therapists that you have and see who fits, because you may have someone who fits in a couple of different customized lists. Like, someone may do EMDR and also do DBT. And so they could go on both lists. And then also that's where that piece of that interclinician directory comes up. If you notice that one of your lists is kind of thin or that most of the people seem to be full on your list, you can then go into that interclinician directory and filter through to see like, who takes Aetna and does EMDR? And then, see in your area, you read a little more about their clinical bio, see if anyone refers to them, and just learn more that way. I
like it. So now I'm starting to get a visual on the lists, and I'm a person that loves organizing information more than anything, I think.
Yeah.
So I like that. And some of these things, as we're talking about it and people are listening, it is hard to visualize what that actually looks like. Right. But what I'm hearing you saying, what I'm imagining is that there's the capability to have multiple different lists that you can then share and refer people to that are targeted and specific, which I like very much.
Right. Well, and the cool thing is too, I will say, like, you're not sharing the list with the prospective client, because like, for example, like I'm at a place where like if people are like, hey, can I refer someone to you? I'm like, please don't have them call. Well, actually now that I've done a consult list, I'm like, yes, please. Because I have the system. But before this, I was like, oh my goodness. So you're only, their name is only, you can send the referral the request to the list, but their name only shows up to the client if they indicate that they actually have space available or are open to the consultation. So that really does cut down on the amount of phone calls that we have to sift through when we're full and overwhelmed as it is. Yeah.
So here's a scenario. So we were just in a staff meeting with my group just a few minutes ago, and we were talking about the referrals that we're getting that are not ideal. For example, people looking for custody evaluations. Right. And or co-parenting counseling, something like that, right? So if she was on the phone with somebody and she finds out that they're looking for a service that we don't provide, but we do have a list on the consult list, what would her next step be?
So let me ask a clarifying question. Do you have a list of therapists that you already know that do custody evaluations on the consult list in this scenario? Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Okay. Because I was going to say you could also filter through the people in your area that do custody evaluations if you needed more people. But if that was the case, what you would do is you would, collect some information about them. And there's something that talks about, I'm trying to think of the language exactly on the website, but let me go to it.
So the intake coordinator could use the drop-down system to ask the questions, get the information, and input that into the consult list, right?
Right. So it's the type of therapy, and then a little bit about requested therapist qualifications. So areas that they're problem areas, like whether it's anger management or codependency, or if there's like custody evaluation, they could input that. And then when it says send to, you can select the list that you want to send. So you might say like a custody evaluation list. And then you can also choose like, hey, do I want to go through this list and choose who goes on it, or do I want to just automatically send it to the client? And they can get a text message, or your prospective client can get a text message with a link or an email with a link, or you can opt to just kind of get back in touch with them, like cut and paste it and into some sort of document, however you prefer.
Okay. I like that very much. That's so cool. One of the things, we have a program here called Therapy Intake Pro, which is a training and support program for other people's intake coordinators. So like if a group practice hires somebody and they need training on how to do that job, we will train them. And we're constantly talking to the intake coordinators about customer service and how beneficial it is to help somebody find the right provider, even if that provider is not at that practice, and how that's good on so many levels, just from a human perspective. And then also it's good word of mouth marketing, essentially, because if somebody's been helped and supported by that practice, they're going to tell their friends, hey, I actually didn't go to this practice, but they were so helpful. They guided me over here. So I think what you have created is really lines up with that philosophy, if you will, very, very well, of just like helping the person that's looking for services in any way possible. And if that's not us, not just closing the door, but saying, we've actually have something very curated for you that's going to help guide your search process. And they're going to be so happy. I'm imagining that.
Oh, yeah.
That's wonderful.
No, I mean, that's the dream. Yeah. It is one of those things, I think, we talk a lot about this, of the scarcity mindset. Sometimes that's hard to get away from. And of course, I don't have a crystal ball, but with the way that the world has been going, I don't foresee the demand for therapists lessening anytime soon. So we really all benefit when we help each other out. We become better therapists when we can focus on our niche. We have more energy at the end of the day for our families, and hopefully we can keep them out of therapy, right? Because we're not as stressed at home. Right? So it's one of those things where I think it's just win-win. And, as my business partner, Jim, says, like, it's going to be, he uses a sports analogy of baseball. Like, he's like, it's not, it's not a lot of home runs to take care of this. It's a lot of just like hits, like every time we can do one thing at a time, we can't, and this is a part of hopefully the solution of,
Sure.
we can all come together.
Yeah, definitely. And believe it or not, there's lots of therapists out there that are quite good at what they do. And maybe for various reasons, maybe they're not excellent at marketing or networking or whatever the thing is. And they've got openings and they could help people who are looking for what they do.
Oh my gosh, that's one of the things that really I was surprised by. We were worried that we would have all these people entering cases and no one to take them. But we found that about 70% of the people who've signed up have space available. And the reason they did a survey, and the reason that they're on the consult list is to get new cases. So it's been pretty shocking, actually.
That's interesting. I love it so much. Thank you for doing what you're doing. I appreciate the fact that you're trying to solve this problem in a very creative way. It's really neat.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, thank you for what you're doing too. I think again, it's a really lovely community of therapists that we have. And it takes a village, I guess.
Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. So everybody listening to this, don't even think about it. Just go to theconsultlist.com, sign up. It's free. You can pay for extra things that will make your life even easier. And I would probably recommend that. I'm going to explore it because I'm all about saving time and automating processes and all of that, of course. Yeah. And then you have an ambassador program that I'm going to check out as well. So I can recommend this to more colleagues.
Thanks. Very cool. And that's one of the things. If you're in an area, there are some states right now where we really have like 2 therapists on the consult list. It's not very active. This is definitely very grassroots. So if you are interested in this and would like to help us kind of raise awareness in your community, please reach out. We're happy to support you along the way and offer you some benefits of free membership at the higher tier as well for your efforts.
That's great. My other passion, aside from organizing information, is finding resources. So this is perfect. I'm going to tell everybody I can, starting with this podcast. Well, thanks for your time, really, Anna. And are there any other links you want to share besides theconsultlist.com? Anything else?
No, I think that's it. Yeah, that's good.
Go sign up. Don't even think twice.
All right.
Thanks for your time, Anna. It's nice to meet you.